just talk to me about life in general, how you've been and how it was having a bit of time with the family.
Yeah, it was all right. I think Christmas I had Saturday and Sunday. Boxing Day I was back training. New Year as well, same, back for one night. But nice to see my kids, watch them open presents and stuff. I'm not complaining though, you know, big fight coming up and one that I really want to get sunk into and get the W.
We'll come on to talk about what is to come shortly, but I suppose we were just talking off camera about your life, your journey. This is going to be your 12th year as a professional. Obviously, you turned over in 2011. When you have, even if it is just a couple of days and you have 5 or 10 minutes to sit and reflect, how do you look at the journey, especially how things have turned out for you in the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's some journey, and it's not over yet. But as many people say, like, oh, you're a champion. But if I had a choice to say, right, you can either be world champion or you can go back to start the journey again and do it all again, without a second thought, I'd love to do it all over again. You know, the journey is so much more important and then the destination. And a lot of people say that, but it actually is. Enjoy the journey because, you know, you can't do it again.
Well, you're a full world champion now, so congratulations, WBA Featherweight Champion of the world. You said to me as well off camera that you always were in your head, but having that feeling now takes away any negativity that can come around it. It must make you feel very special inside.
Yeah, I didn't need it for myself. Nothing changes. Still feel the same. But it's more for the people around outside of boxing that would only view me as a regular champion. Even though the person that had the belt had not boxed for nearly 4 years, which is insane. But like I said, it's nice to get it all cleared up. And more what that brings to the table for me, going into unification fights and having that bit more pull to get bigger fights delivered.
We look at you now, Leigh, as a household name, not just for Matchroom, but certainly in British boxing. And like you say, moving on to the world stage now. When you look back, even as soon as the Jazza Dickens fight and where your career looked to be going there from the outside, to be sitting here in the position you are now, how does that make you feel? And what helps you, do you think, to carry on and get to this point?
Yeah, you know, I've always had the key things to get me where I am. You know, I've always had the hard work, made the sacrifices, dedicated, can punch. But I just needed the guidance, and I needed someone like Ben for that, you know, what to do, where to do it. You know, all these things he's added to my game. It's just been like a match made in heaven, exactly what I was missing, and exactly what he's brought to the table and more. So yeah, when I look back at them fights, it's almost, when I watch them, it's almost cringe how I used to fight, the mistakes I used to make. But at the same time, you know, everything for a reason. The time of that, if I'd have won that, I wouldn't have changed training, then I've been in that fight, and I wouldn't have been here today. I wouldn't be world champion sat in you going to a big fight in my own city. I wouldn't be here. So yeah, thankful for everything that happened to me, and the trials and tribulations that I went through to get me to this point. And thank you to everyone that's helped me.
You're a nice guy, Leigh. You've always been very approachable, and you're always great with the fans as well. Do you think it's important for you to be a figure, to not only show people not to give up, but also to be there as a champion for people in Nottingham and elsewhere to look to and be able to go to and be inspired by?
Yeah, for sure. You know, to come from where I've come from, to do my journey, to help inspire other people to do their journey, and whatever, it might not be boxing, it might be something else, you know. Forest have been so many years outside of that Premier League, and in the same year, you know, they've got a new world champion. We're back in the Premier League. You know, if that's not inspiration in itself, you know, to inspire, like, if you work hard enough and you want something bad enough and you're willing to do whatever it takes, you will get there. You know, you can't sit around and make excuses. You just got to go out and get it done. And I think as to sports, myself as a professional athlete and Forest as a team are both examples of that.
And one man who I'm sure inspired you for many years is, of course, the Cobra, Cole Frotch. I had Cole on the podcast a few months ago, heading up to what would have been your fight, and he said, after the Conlon fight, I well and truly handed over the keys as the Sheriff of Nottingham to Leigh Wood. He was ringside, of course, commentating on that knockout. The commentary is legendary. I'm sure you've listened back to it so many times, but it's funny how the world works, that Cole's someone who speaks so fondly of you now.
Yeah, massive inspiration. I couldn't have asked for a better inspiration on my doorstep. Same amateur club, the same school, same area. I know a lot of people that he knows. I know his family. Yeah, to have that role model, you know, I feel very fortunate. And that's why I do bang the drum and push these kids that are coming through, you know, try and be a good example inside the ring and outside the ring. But at the same time, you know, it's important to be yourself. You know, me and Carl are slightly different characters. But at the same time, you know, we both wanting to do something. We both wanted to achieve something. We both worked hard and we both did it. He inspired me, and hopefully I inspire someone else.
Now, Mauricio Lara, when you take yourself back to last year, you'd pretty much banged out the arena. We were gearing up for another huge night in Nottingham. You get injured. There's a chance to perhaps come into the new year looking elsewhere. I think there was a few questions that fight may not materialise, but for you it seems one that you wanted. You didn't want to leave any boxes unticked. Why was it important that it was Lara that this fight was rescheduled with?
Last year I had pretty much the pick of who I could fight. I could fight anyone. Pretty much in the ranking I could have picked anyone. It was important for me to, solidify myself and prove my worth, prove that I am a genuine world champion. This was before the belt situation was sorted out, so I thought, right, what names have I got? Warrington had his mandatory against Lopez, so that was out of the equation. So if I'm going to get Warrington, in my eyes, get the man that beat Warrington, and that's Lara. And that was pretty much my mindset then, and that's my mindset now. I want to prove myself. I want to prove how good I am. It's a fight I'm going to win. And, once I get this out of the way, there's some even bigger fights out there for me.
Your self-belief has always been so strong, and like we talked about earlier, I'm sure that's played a big part in helping you to get to this point. You say you're going to win this fight. When you look at Mauricio Lara, a man that no one's going to be jumping at to want to fight, but you seem to have no fear. What gives you the confidence that you have right now?
No, it's a number of things. It's how you look at things, it's perspective, Lara's a great fighter, he's very dangerous, but styles make fights. His style, I think, is well suited to me, and my team thinks the same. And the preparation we put in for every fight is with a telling difference on the night, as you've seen in the Conlon fight, as you've seen in the Kanzu fight, as you've seen in the Reese Mold fight. Hear it all the time, even with this fight, he's going to take your head off, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. I heard the same things with the Kanzu fight. He throws his spinning punches around, he's going to do this, he'll use my head as a speedball, all of these things, I print screen him. And after the fight, I think I'm going to come back to him, but just winning is enough. I never come back to him. But it's the same thing I always hear. This fight's no different, he's got his attributes. Every fighter at that level has got something that brings him to the table, brings him to that level. But the main thing for me is my team, they're adapting to win that fight. And that's what's going to keep winning me these fights.
We mentioned your team now. I spoke to Ben about this on numerous occasions, and he says, look, what makes Lara dangerous, obviously, is punch power, also makes him reckless and open. Is that how you see it?
For sure, I don't want to give too much away. Obviously, they could be watching this, but that's normally the case. Sometimes someone's best asset is also the biggest downfall, and that is the case with Mauricio Lara. And I don't want to give too much away, but I'm coming to expose it.
And in terms of the Nottingham Arena, like I said, the atmosphere for the Conlon fight was so special. When you're on that ramp and you're having these types of nights now, the nights you've always dreamed of, can we expect a special night in February?
You know what to expect from me. I think I've been in 9 title fights in my career, and the ones I've won have all been knockout. The Nottingham Arena, it was a special night against Conlon. I think there was 60% from Nottingham in the arena on the night. There was 10% of the undercard, Terry Harborslow, etc. Then the rest was Irish. So it was quite split, but the atmosphere was incredible. This time, I'm pretty confident the arena is going to sell out, and the atmosphere, the Nottingham faithful, is going to be special. And my last fight, they picked me up on the floor. Hope they don't have to do this time, but if they have to, they will.
I think the Ringwall music tells a bit about your story as well. Obviously, McIntyre always gets the Forest fans going, but the Something Inside So Strong tune was one you picked before your British title fight, I believe, one that had a lot of sentimental value to you. And that word, that phrase, Something Inside So Strong, says a bit about Leigh Wood in the ring, doesn't it?
For sure. It sums up my career, sums up my attitude, my mentality towards boxing and life as well. And that was a tribute, like you say, to Nicky Booth, who passed away before the British title. And it's just stuck. It stuck with me, and it's gave a bit of identity. And it's one that will stay now for my future fights and the rest of my career.
Eddie told me that on the poster he wants blood, guts and thunder. Everyone's talking about this not going 12 rounds. Is that how you see it as well, Leigh? Do you believe this fight does end inside the distance?
Of course. We prepare for 12 rounds. So I'll be there, as you know, upwards to 12 rounds. I don't know if I can complete 12 rounds, but I seem to get a lot of wins in the 12th round. But no, I don't think this fight could go that far, even though I'm all preparing for it to go that far. But like you say, the styles for this fight are going to gel really well, especially for me. The things he does, the way he transitions for distance, it's just a recipe for disaster against myself.
And you said you're fed up of seeing the knockout played back from the Conlon fight. Do you believe when you're sat in your house on Sunday morning, you'll still have not only the belt on your lap, but you'll be rewatching another highlight reel knockout victory? Is that how you want to win this fight?
Probability is very high. I think there's a massive chance that I get him out of there fairly early, and add another reel to the knockout reels that I've got already. But you can't take anything for granted. I'm working really hard. I'm watching endless amounts of videos. I'm getting sent by Leigh Wood and Ben all the time to get this right. I want to get this bang on. I don't want to slip up. But I'm confident I get the job done and job done in style.
Mauricio Lara's been into the Lions Den before, of course, at Headingley with Josh Warrington. He's coming over here full of confidence. What's your message to Mauricio Lara and what he needs to be ready for?
Yeah, I've been at both them fights. The first time I beat Reece Mould the same night, and then Josh got beat by Lara, and then the rematch as well. Outdoors, I was there for that. Lara's made a big mistake with me. He's made things personal. He said a few things about me. That just, like I said, Conlon did that, and it just makes me push that a little bit harder, makes that little bit of needle. And when there's a little bit of needle involved with me, it does give me extra gears. So what I want to say to him is make sure you're ready. Make sure you're very best. Better than anyone's ever seen you, because I'm coming for you.
What's he said that's perhaps offended you?
He said a few things about pulling out for the fight, faking injuries, got no balls and stuff, But, it doesn't matter what he says or what he does, The disrespect's here, and he's got to deal with me on the fight night, and I'm going to be my best, and I'm coming for him.
I can't wait for this fight. I suppose when you look at this, we don't want to get too carried away about what might come. I've heard a few rumours that Mick Conlon might be fighting Lopez for the IBF belt. Massive unification rematch, perhaps with Mick Conlon. Perhaps the Josh Warrington fight. Do you think that still has legs? Lots of fights out there for you should you come through this.
Yeah, for sure. I'm 100% behind Mick. I'd love him to win that fight. If that fight's been made, I'm not sure. There's just rumours at the minute. But if that fight has been made, I'm definitely behind him, and I'll be wanting him to win that fight. And if he does, all being well, I come through my fight. That's a massive rematch for undisputed, not for undisputed, for unified world titles. Does it get much bigger than that? Everyone's been crying for that rematch, and the timing of it both could make more sense. If not, I think the Warrington fight would be a bigger fight as it is. He's achieved more, and his name's not on my resume yet. And we know Josh's never in a bad fight. He always gives 100%. He always goes to the well. So that would be a cracking fight as well, with both football teams on either side, one at the top of the motorway, one in the middle. So we'll see what happens, see how it pans out. First of all, I'm not taking my eyes off Lara. Fully focused on that fight first. See what happens.
Final message, Leigh, to your fans, not only watching on Design around the world, but coming out in their thousands to see you into that ring and support you from the first to maybe the 12th round. What's your final message to them?
First of all, I just want to apologise for picking up that injury back in August, September. And I had to read and see a lot of bullshit in the news, about, on social media and about injuries and faking this and pulling out. That is not me. I don't pull out fights, especially fights I've asked for. So just thanks for the support. Nottingham Arena's going to be bouncing. Better than before, better than my last fight, bigger and better. I can't wait to get in there and show you a massive win and push us on to even bigger fights.
Leigh Wood versus Mauricio Lara, WBA World Featherweight Title. Do not miss it, Leigh. Thanks very much.